councillors. The next motion requiring suspension of the rules is by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Eglai, with respect to a park naming on suspension. Carried. Councillor Taylor, if you'd like to introduce the motion, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, colleagues, for engaging me on this over the past month. I bring a park naming today for a park in my ward that just has a place name. It's named because it's on a street. This motion is to commemoratively name the park after a long-standing Ottawa and West End volunteer. Whereas Marlene Catterall has served the community of Michelle Heights as a volunteer, as City Alderman and Regional Councillor representing Britannia Ward 1976 to 1985, and as the Member of Parliament for Ottawa West Nepean in 1988-2006, and whereas from the early 1970s as a member and then chair of the Citizens Committee for the Pinecrest Queensway Neighbourhood Planning Study, she became familiar with all the neighbourhoods in the West End area, including and particularly Michelle Heights and its unique needs. And whereas Marlene saw the need for more integrated social services in the area, including community health services, organizing the first meeting of the local service providers to start the process towards establishing a multi-service centre. And whereas as City Alderman, Marlene worked with residents to plan the Michelle Heights Recreation Centre in Michelle Park, a centre that still meets the needs of a community that has grown in diversity. And whereas in support of the community surrounding the park, in addition to the community centre, Marlene and others launched restaurant and clothing store businesses that today we would define as social enterprises for the good of the community and the employees. And whereas Marlene's ongoing efforts to support the Michelle Heights and wider community today in engaging civic participation, growing the representation of women in community leadership, and strengthening community bonds are exemplary. And whereas members of the community and organizations of community support have come forward to request recognition of Marlene Catterall, and whereas the city's commemorative naming policy approved by Council on July 24, 2002 outlines the criteria and process for commemoratively naming municipal streets, parks and facilities or parts thereof, and provides for Council to assign a commemorative name by resolution in keeping with its powers set out in the Municipal Act. Whereas the name Marlene Catterall has been vetted through emergency services and does not pose any concerns with respect to name duplication, therefore be it resolved that City Council approve that Michelle Park, located at 2955 Michelle Drive, be named Park Marlene Catterall Park. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions, commentaires?
Any questions or comments?
On the motion, carried. Thank you, councillors. Our final motion requiring suspension of the rules is also a naming, and it's by Councillor Wilkinson and Con.